principles.
I'm aligned with that. How to speak honestly without writing to the
Okay. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. We hereby start the September 11th Toastmaster meeting. Let's bring our hands for the president, Jennifer.
Today is 911.
Today's 911, that's right.
Oh, that's why it's
Yeah.
not so many guests. People stay home to be safe. Good morning, everyone. So we have 7 people today. It's representing the 7 days of the week, and today is Wednesday. As usual, we have a Toastmaster meeting every Wednesday morning at 7. Now it will be at 7:10. It not necessarily mean that you can come here later, because as our habit, you can see that we have the first 10 minutes to get ready with all the papers and get ready for the rows as well. As the numbers of guests is shrinking, so I feel like we do need the rows volunteer ahead of time too, and also for the team member who take 2 or 3 rows at the same time. So being that, I appreciate that our 7 faces contribution right here to make the meeting still happening and still bring the great energy for the people who show up and resilient to attend this practice of communication and leadership. Today the theme is how to speak honestly. Wow, it's a very wonderful topic, I feel, and as it's a very cozy meeting today, I hope that we also embrace that honesty in the thing that we share when the chance we speak up, and anything above and beyond what you want to share honestly today, please bring it up. And with that being said, let's welcome the Toastmaster of the day who choose the theme, Wami.
Thank you, Ms. President.
Thank you.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. The theme of the day is the trick question, but we'll have to wait for the table topics master to deal with that. In the meantime, our invocator is Jose.
Yes.
Good morning, Toastmaster. Noah Guess. And so our topic for today is how to speak honestly. And it seems like the topic is more of an intent. And for what I interpret, trying to speak honestly, it's based upon the policy of honesty. Yeah, what's the saying? Honesty is the best policy. But it's more of intent. The intent to bring about the truth, bring about cooperation between parties, more understanding, and more compassion, and eventually being able to appreciate each and every person's point of view. So in that sense, I invite everybody, fellow Toastmasters, to express your truth in the best way possible, so we can get insights on who you are. Thank you very much.
And have that probity in you.
Yes. Yeah, that's probably right.
Is that count?
That's
Oh,
not
yeah.
my Yeah.
Thank you. And definitely we need that probity to be able to speak honestly in some strange way. So we're gonna go over the duty masters, and it looks like we have a lot of people doing double duties. The art counter today is Jose.
I'll be the odd counter. I'm here to count. Everybody's saying which I just did. Repeated words that doesn't have to be in your speech. And I'll count them, and there's a fine of 5 cents for each infraction, maximum 50 cents. It's part of the general contribution to the club. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Our timer is also Jose.
Yes, I'll be doing the timer, and for the different topics, for sample table topics, it's 2 minutes. Evaluations is 3 minutes. Speeches is 5 to 7 minutes. When I flag green, that means 2 minutes is left. I flag yellow, 1 minute is left. red, the time is up. There's a 30-second grace period, and then I bring the bell. And that's the rules for timer.
Thank you. And the speakers today is 5 to 7 minutes. We have our word master, Raj.
So today, the word of the day is probity. It's kind of tightly, kind of aligned with the theme of the day, how to speak honestly. So try to bring in this word in your speeches, in your table topics, and and I'll be watching for the use of the word, and I think there's no fine for it. And I'll be reporting at the end of it.
Thank you, Raj. We don't have a grammarian. Do we? Does anyone want to volunteer?
I can do the.
Hannah raised her hand first.
Okay.
Let's Hannah. You have 3 duties. Right?
Okay.
So I will be grammarian, and I will be keeping track of incorrect use of grammar, but please do your best. If you're wrong, you don't have to try to correct yourself, but incorrect plural, singular, adding an S, mixing past and present tenses, dangling participles, ending sentences with them.
That's great. Thank you, Hannah. Now, ball counter is right.
Yeah, me again. So you guys, all of you have this little sheet to count. Put your votes on who's the best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topics. And I'll be counting the votes and reporting the assessment at the end.
Thank you, Roger. Our Toast video master is sort of automatic, I guess. Although Abuna is still sort of turning the camera on.
Morning.
Good morning.
So I've been volunteered, thank you. That is a really good word. To be video master today, and I will be sort of pointing the camera to the speakers today. And I don't know if you're automatically uploading those videos now, or
It's automatically
so.
uploaded.
And to the magic of Apple's technology, we'll be automatically uploading it to YouTube. If you don't want to be recorded, please let me know so that I can turn the camera off when you're speaking. Thank
That's
you.
great. Thank you, everyone. So we're going to go to our prepared speeches. We have 2 prepared speeches. Our first speaker has been with this club for the last year or so, although she's been giving a lot of speeches. And today she's going to talk about a story, The Monk and the Cow. Let's welcome Hannah to talk about The Monk and the Cow.
Thank you, Amy. Alright. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. As you know from my last couple speeches, I've been trying to work on my storytelling skills. So this morning I'll be telling a story about the monk and the cow. It's a story I've been told a couple times, but I might not, say it as perfectly as it goes, but it's definitely a great story. Maybe you've heard it before, maybe you have not. But there's a moral to every story out there, so hopefully you'll find the moral in this one as well. So once upon a time, there was a very prestigious monk that lived on top of a mountain. And he lived in a very comfortable estate, was very abundant in his food, had shelter, clothing, very nice clothes. And this monk one day realized, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. I'm getting old, I might pass away tomorrow. So I need an apprentice. So this monk goes and he hires an apprentice. And so his young apprentice lives on his estate, does everything for him to learn from the monk. This monk is called a philosopher, a guru to the people, very well known throughout the lands. And so he's like, okay, the apprentice says, if I'm gonna learn anything, I'm gonna learn from this guy. So I'll do anything that he tells me to. So the apprentice cleans his toilets, cooks his food, gets his clothing ready for the day, organizes his books and his paperwork and stuff like that. But it doesn't really feel like he's learning anything. And so the monk goes, okay, apprentice, I really want to teach you something valuable. So we're going to go down to the village and we're going to go help some poor people. People that need our help really in life. And the apprentice goes, okay, yes. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been training for. And so he goes, Master, what should I do? The master goes, okay, gather all my stuff, pack a couple bags for us, some clothing, some food, some snacks, and and my books and articles, and we're gonna go down and help this village. And he goes, okay. So the apprentice gets excited, packs these 2 bags for them, and he's like, okay, we're leaving tomorrow morning. And so they get ready, and he gets up early tomorrow morning to get ready to go and help the village. And he goes, okay, master, like, what else do we need to do? And he's like, okay, I want you to go to find the most raggedy clothes that you can find. These rags, really outdated clothing, really dirty clothing, and I want you to bring them to me. So the apprentice goes, finds these rags, these dirty clothes, and he goes, okay, master, I found them. He's like, I want you to put them on. And he put them on me too. And he's like, master, you know, you're this prestigious guru and philosopher and monk. You know, why are we dressing up in these rags to go help these villagers? And he's like, apprentice, we can't help everybody. And so when you go down to the village, everybody's going to want our help. We're going to be looking for just the people that really, really need our help. So we got to go in disguise. So he goes, okay. So they both get in a disguise, and they both travel all the way down the mountain, down to the village, to help out all the poor people there, and the people that need help. And so they spend the whole day helping out the people. And at the end of the day, right before they reach the crossroads and they're about to call it a day, they start walking through this neighborhood. And the monk master says, okay, apprentice, go find me a place to stay. You know, I'm really tired. I don't think we'll make it back to the estate tonight. But find me a place to stay with plenty of food and a good place to rest. I'm looking for a good place to rest. So the apprentice goes, okay. So the apprentice walks in the neighborhood, and he looks around at all these houses. And they're very nice houses. And he's like, okay, any of these will do for my master. They'll have plenty of food and good place to sleep. And he sees this very small shack at the end. This very small shack in the end is a very small house compared to the other houses. It's covered in cobwebs, really run down compared to the other houses in the neighborhood. It's definitely doesn't look like the other ones. And he goes, the master goes, I want you to go to that one. He's like, I want you to go to that house over there. And the apprentice goes, master, these people are poor. I don't think they're going to have anything for you to your level of comfort. And he goes, no, I want you to go over there. So the apprentice goes and knocks on the door. And this feeble old man comes out. This feeble old man goes, the apprentice goes, I'm a traveler, we've been traveling. We need this place to stay and some food. And the feeble old man goes, oh, come on in. And so he brings him inside the house and he shows him around. He goes, son, we don't have too much. Everything's like covered in cobwebs, really old. He has a big family and it's just him. And he goes, we don't have much, but we're willing to spare whatever we have to take care of you guys over here. And he goes, okay. And let me show you around. And he takes him to the back and he shows him he's like, let me show you my prized possession, the feeble old man says. This is my prized possession of our family. And so he takes him to the back of the ranch and he shows him this really scrawny cow. And this really cow looks like it's going to fall over and pass away any minute. And he goes, this is our prized possession of our family. And the apprentice goes, okay. He's like, this is the cow that provided us. We actually sell milk and cheese at the market. And he's like, the cow produces just enough for my family to get by and just a handful enough for us to sell at the market and get by. The apprentice goes, okay. And he's like, he gets a little bit worried. And so he goes back outside. His master's waiting outside down the road. And he goes, master, I don't think this house is going to cut it. Like, we should try another house. These people don't have anything. And I feel bad for asking them for taking care of us. And the master goes, no. We're going to stay at this house. So the master and them come in. And the feeble old man takes care of him and his family. And they give him some milk and cheese. Whatever they have, they give to them. And then, of course, the master demands, a really nice place to stay, really good food and stuff like that. And so they take care of him. And then right before sunrise, they're going to take off. And the master goes, okay, before everyone wakes up, let's get going. We got to get back on the road. Let's leave this family. And he goes, okay. So the whole time the apprentice trying to, figure out what's going on here. And so the master goes, okay, pack your stuff. We're going to leave right before sunrise, before the family gets up. So they start packing up their stuff, leaving down the road. And the master stops dead in his tracks when he starts walking. Just like 30 steps down the road away from the house. Nobody's woken up yet. And he turns to the apprentice. He goes, apprentice, I want you to go do something for me. And the apprentice goes, anything, master, you name it. And he goes, I want you to go back, untie the cow, and I want you to go push the cow off the cliff. And the apprentice goes, oh my gosh, what am I going to do here? And he's like, you told me you're going to do anything, this is what you need to do. And he's like, okay. And so the apprentice thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? So right before everyone wakes up, he unties their cow, takes her to the cliff, and pushes her off the cliff. And he goes, oh my God, what did I just do? And so he's panicking, but the master goes, don't worry, we're at it. It's gonna be all good at the end. And so they go back to the estate. 10 years go by, and then they come back down to the village. Or 10 years go by. Now the master has passed away. Now the apprentice is the master monk up there. And he's thinking again, oh my God, 10 years have gone by. Like, I started thinking about this family again. Like, what's happened to them? I don't know. And so he's like, you know what? I should just go down there myself and figure out what happened. And so he walks back down to the neighborhood. And he's older, of course. And he goes, you know, this neighborhood doesn't look the same. He's like, these same houses are here, but this other house, it looks like it's doubled in size. And this house is all fixed up, and it doesn't look like what it used to. It used to look very haunted, very run down. And he goes, knocks on the door, and the feeble man answers the door. And this time the feeble man is dressed in some very nice clothes. And this time he has a really lavish house, and there's another house built in the back. And he invites him in, and then he goes, hey, you know, old man, like, what happened? I used to know the family that lived here. They're really poor, and you guys don't seem like you're here. He's like, we've always been here. We've been here for like 30 years. And he's like, well, what happened? He's like, you know, what happened to the family? And he says, you know, the craziest thing happened 10 years ago. You know, one time I was helping some travelers out, and I woke up the next morning, and my cat went mad and threw herself off the cliff. Okay. I know, one more time.
No, finish.
I'm finished.
I'll just skip that, yeah.
The craziest thing happened, you know, she went mad and she threw herself off the cliff. And then he's like, okay, but what happened next? He's like, you know, we realized that we were just relying on these milk and cheese to get by, but really there's all these abundant resources on our farm and our ranch. And so my kids helped out. And then in our business at the market, we started selling all this other stuff we had on the ranch. And my kids went out and created all these arts and crafts. And then we started selling at 3 different markets. And so instead of selling all this little stuff at one market, we started selling all this other stuff at 3 markets. And so that's why they built another house, fixed up this house, and now my kids are very well off and taken care of. And so, fellow Toastmasters, don't be afraid to kill your comfort. The apprentice learned that, you know, they were living in comfort, and once that cow went off the cliff, it was the best thing that could have happened to that family. So that was the
Thank you, Hannah. Please give ourselves a minute to provide feedback.
Am I the evaluator for the next speaker?
You are evaluating Jennifer, and then,
Yeah, because it says 3, but
yeah,
the
I think
speaker-
it's 2, yeah.
Yeah, like,
You're evaluating Jennifer, and then
and
Tony is evaluating Hannah. So our next speaker is our president, and she's gonna give a speech 5 to 7 minutes. Let's welcome Jennifer.
Thank you, Mommy. Good morning again. Honestly, it has been 3 years since I made the last speech ever at this club. It was somehow a fear about being so frequently presented here as the president. But take time off and prepare something and talk about some important topic. It's so scary to me. And even with that, I also be honest that today I didn't prepare much. Maybe my evaluator will find it out, because last time he found out from Tony's speech that Tony didn't prepare well too. But I think one of the key things about being honest is you have less preparation and speak something that is so important to you. And today I would like to share about college coaching, which is recently I found out that that is something that even enhanced my life calling business of helping students to study abroad. And the more students coming to me, I realize that they are in their teenagers year, and it is so important for them to have a college coaching counselor. So why college coaching is important. Because it's not about English preparation, it's not only about SAT, essay, good GPA to get into the right schools for yourself, but it's about supporting a young person to enter the best milestone of their lives in the best readiness. And there are three main key factors about why college coaching is so important. The first, college coaching helping you to find the school that best fit your personality and your potential. About 2 days ago, US News released the report about the ranking of the top universities in the US. And it reminded me about the meetings I have in Vietnam in the summer. So I met students from Hanoi, which is the capital of Vietnam, and I met the students from Da Nang, which is the middle of Vietnam. There's so many parents coming to me telling me that, Jennifer, we don't care how you do it or what you do with the kids in that preparation, but I want them to go to the highest ranking university as they can. And the deeper when I consult those students, I realize there's some depression and there's some inconfidence in them. And there's one particular girl, she cried on the spot when I talked to her deeper about what the family's expectation and what she really wants. So really, the US News report is very precisely and very helpful for the kids to know what rank of the university they're coming from. But it's not about that only. What about you going to Harvard, you're going to Yale, you're going to Stanford, but you're not happy in that environment? What if the competition in that university make you feel less about yourself, make you feel inconfident, and you dead inside? So that's about the potential and best fit the personality. Secondly, college coaching is very important because it helps to reduce your out money pocket. There's so many scholarships and financial aid. There's so many grants that the parents and the students should know about. For example, one of the partners that we work with called Northern Arizona University, they have a 50% scholarship, and the only two requirements is that you have a GPA more than 3.0 and you have an IELTS, which is an International English Certificate of 6.0, which is very achievable for the student. And the grant they're gonna get is $13,000 a year, multiplied into 4, which is 52,000 for the whole 4 years. So it helped the parents to be less worried about the financial foundation that they have, and be less worried about how to support the kids for the whole 4 years in college. So that's the second reason. And the last but not least reason, looking back in my whole journey after college and up to this point, it took me about 10 years to working in so many fields: banking, stock market, real estate, IT project management. Especially the job in IT project management, in order to survive in Silicon Valley and maintain visas and stuff, I did work in that field. But it was so stressful because it's not what I love, and it's not what I love to do, and it's out of my ability to articulate the technical terms and working with the software engineers. But it's a huge experience for me to learn in that field and be able to consult my students now going into engineering majors. So looking back in my own journey after college, and also when I see the parents and students, I feel it's so important to find the joy within you. And one of the key factors is to be able to find and to do what you love and love what you do. With the young generation, they don't have that many preparation, information, readiness, and the consciousness. So how we can do that is my life calling. And I feel like up to this point right here, right now, my two priorities is first, how to serve our students coming to the school year next term, and also how to find the team that have that property to maintain that moral principles of fighting for the students as much as I do. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer. Let's give ourselves a minute to provide feedback to Jennifer. Well, we're finished with the prepared speeches of the meeting. Now we're going to go to evaluation. Let's welcome our general evaluator, Tony.
Hello everyone, so as a general evaluator, I would like to, so my role is basically evaluate the meeting and connect to the evaluator to evaluate each speaker. And so I would like to introduce the first evaluator, Mr. Rash.
No, you.
Oh, me? Oh yeah, okay, that's me. Which
Did
is
you
me?
prepare?
Yeah, repair. Okay. So I will evaluate Hannah. Well, I thought that it's like a which I gotta go back and forth, so let's make like more dramatically. Okay. So Hannah, the monk and the cow. First of all, I really like the story. You keep my attention until like the last word, even like the bell ring, right? We still haven't seen the ending yet, so it's really like a real attention, and I have to focus on what happened to that cow, what happened to the family, man. That's a big question. It's I really like how you lead the story. You have a good vocal variety, and also I think this also can be a story that we can use to tell the initial inspiration of Airbnb, right? So to find a place to sleep. Just a joke. Okay. You have a good grammar and the word uses. You use the words really well, and also I found like no grammar mistake in there. And secondly, what you tell from your eyes, from your the way that you tell a story, I can tell you like you tell with like property. You feel to put all the spirit into it, right? And but there is the two things that I think you need to work on. It as the first one is how to catch your breath, because like when you say so fast, like and you look at the timer and you're so stressful and you see like the story is still long, and you feel like my breath has to like say as fast as I can. So just pay attention to your breath and just take a deeper breath every time you have chance. And last but not least is you're moving in the pause, right? You both physical and the tone. So you move. You should like consciously feel that you move with the flow of the story. So you only change the position whenever you change the scene. Like for example, you go sleep in the house, you're staying here, you sleep in another house, you're staying here, so the audience may subconsciously follow your story flow. And also the pause in your tone too. Like you say very clear, so that's why a lot of people can very easy to follow your flow. But you know, in the different scenario, like if English is not as native as you are speaking right now, people are gonna feel the hard time when they follow the flow with the no pause in between. Yeah, that is my evaluation, and I would like to introduce the second evaluator, which is Raj. Thank you.
Later, you need to evaluate yourself too.
Okay.
Hello, folks. So, yeah, I'm gonna evaluate our So again, I go with those general three guiding principles for myself. So what did I see? What did I hear? What was my takeaway? Right. So what did I see? There is definitely a very good positive energy whenever you are here, and the smile that you put on your face and the eye contact that you have really keeps the attention, and people are really waiting to hear what you say. So that is the very good part. I really have to learn something from you that way. What did I hear? To start with, I think you started talking about your fear, or you're talking about honesty, and you are also telling about how scared you are to talk about that. And for a minute, I was a little confused about like what is the topic, what is she even, where is she going, right? What is she going to talk about? So there was definitely maybe a 30 seconds of a confusion, at least in me, to figure out like what is she going to talk about. And then you jumped into the fantastic topic of college coaching and how you do as part of your day job. And I also was impressed about the probity in the job that you're doing, because you're trying to do one major thing, which is helping the young kids to identify what their skills are and to put them in the right comfort zone. For example, Stanford is fantastic university and college, but if you are not comfortable, you don't feel like you're home, then you are not a right fit over there. And that is a really good effort that you're putting in. So that is really good. And in the speech, when you were introducing places, like you said, this is the capital of Vietnam, this is in the middle of Vietnam. So that gave me a mental picture of what is she talking about, right? Even when it comes to a geographical location, when you're mentioning those things, that really helped, right? I was actually following the speech that way. And there was a little bit of stammering I heard, but that's okay. I think that's okay. I think you anyway honestly told that you are not prepared, so I kind of give it. Right. So I also liked the word that you used, life calling. So it's I think you're trying to associate that as your purpose of life in a way, right? So you're not only doing it as part of your job, but you're also making some purpose out of it. You're trying to find a meaning of your life in this job that you're doing. So those were really good, and in fact those were my takeaways also. Makes me think like, what is my life calling, right? So thank you.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it if I'm the president, you don't have any bad feedback?
Thank you, Rash. Okay, so I will pass the control back to the Toastmaster. Thank you.
We have this extra steps. Maybe we can cancel that next extra step. In any case, we're going to be going to the third section of our meeting, which is table topics.
Yeah.
Let's welcome our table topics master, Haru.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmy. So I was doing double duty as video master. So am I right? Right. On the field view? Cool. Very
Awesome.
good. Okay. So today's topic was a challenge. It's like, how do you speak honestly? And honestly, with all the probability that I can muster, I don't know how to speak honestly. Wai Ming, when I asked him about the topic, he sent me this really interesting article about the quality of rhetoric and how it has declined over the past few years. And he started off about telling us about Reagan and Margaret Thatcher and what were the differences and how they were talking about, and contrasted that and how that change evolved with various presidencies from George Bush, Bill Clinton, Obama, and then to Mr. Trump today. Talking about that article, I thought it was going to be way too much about having the nuances of rhetoric, so I decided to sort of stick to other topics about, rather than asking you about honesty and having waxing philosophical stuff, I'm just going to ask you about interesting things, and hopefully you'll tell us about it as honestly as possible. So, Jose,
No time for the video.
if you could travel back in time and tell your younger self one thing about public speaking, what would it be?
Come again?
If you could travel back in time and tell your younger self one thing about public speaking, what would it be?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Well, the question is basically more like time travel. If you're able to travel through time, how could you, with probability, go back and tell you what did you learn basically from public speaking? Well, I believe if I had the chance to do that, then that means I would have to think about myself as I was in the past. I would say the first thing I would tell myself would be to not be afraid, that you can always express yourself the way you want it, and you'll learn a lot along the way, and you'll grow faster actually from those mistakes. There's always resources out there for you to look at if there's something that should go wrong. You can always, again, think about how you did before to learn, to improve, to actually grow from whatever experience that you encounter. So I would say just getting rid of that fear is probably one of the most important parts of learning how to speak and growing from there. Thank you.
So one of the things that everybody is talking about, especially these days, is that our thinking is flawed. Robert Fulghum, an author that I really like reading, says that don't believe everything you think. So my next question is, tell us about a time you found something that you thought was true, but found out later was due to flawed thinking. Wemming?
Thank you, Arun. I do that all the time. Every day I have that. In school, one thing is, very simple. I go take a test. I write something out. Oh, this is the right answer, and then the next day is not correct. That's true all the time. That's true when I take tests. That's true when I say things, maybe even now. Because I'm just not perfect. And maybe some of you are perfect, and that would be good. But that's the nature of myself. And the good thing about me is I learned about that over the years, that everything I say, everything I think, I have to second guess, just in case. And the only way I know to deal with this is just keep doing it. Whether it's public speaking or anything else, is the more I do it, the more I practice it, and still have to improve, not just doing the same thing, but repeat and then correct and repeat, that I improve the chances of being more correct the next time I come in. That's why I come to Toastmasters. That's why I do some of the things, other things I do. That's why I do exercise. I do exercise 3 times a week, and I'm still this big, but I still do it because that's the only way to improve. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. So my next question is somewhat interesting, at least to me. All of us seem to think about that, inspirational speakers. We think about Toastmasters that we've seen in action. We look at politicians that we think are really great at oratory. But I want you to think about, about a TV show, any TV show, any fictitious character that you thought had a lot of presence and they gave a great dialogue. For me, for example, I'm really into the West Wing these days, so I really enjoy watching that fictitious President Bartlett, and sometimes I really wish that he was actually real. But anyway, that's just us. That's just me. But so, what can you think of a character that you really enjoyed watching? Then I'm not talking about the actor, but the character itself that you thought was really inspirational and could have been inspirational in real life. Hannah.
I think she herself is inspirational.
But it has to be. It has to be fictitious. It's a story.
I guess I'm going to be very honest and say, when you're just giving that whole spiel right now, I wouldn't really call them inspirational, but I don't know if anybody's watched Mad Men, Don Draper on the TV series, only because, I mean, we're talking about the poverty and being brutally honest. And honesty, like, life is not perfect and you're not a perfect human being. And you just see throughout the whole series that he just makes a series of mistakes that kind of snowball into his life and his career and his relationship with his wives and his ex-wives. And of course, you realize he's kind of halfway like I don't want to say schizophrenic, but has like a lot of mental health problems. Is also an alcoholic. And I thought of, I mean, I was reminded, and I'm going to be brutally honest, I was kind of reminded of my own father, who also struggled with alcohol, but also having good relationships with his wife. And that's, to me, like, a character is not perfect. And if everyone had a video camera on them, you would realize we go through our own struggles and we have our own demons to face. And it might not be the same things. It might not be substance abuse or mental health problems, and it might not be challenges of having healthy relationships. But that's all honesty. Like, that's life, and that's being brutally honest. And so, I mean, I could even talk about other characters, but that was the one character that resonated with me because it made me want to be him, but I also realized he struggled a lot. I mean, like, he's suave and like really handsome and stuff like that, really successful, but on the other side, you have your own struggles, in all honesty.
Would anyone else like to take a stab at that question? Tony?
Oh, really? Okay. With that question too, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I think 2 years ago, no, more than 1 year ago, I watched a movie called The Greatest Showman. And P.T. Barney is one of the characters that I think is the most inspirational and the most connecting to myself. Because he is a crazy man. He did something that no one did before. And he just created anything out of like nowhere, just from his imagination. And so I look back to my past, when I watched that movie, I feel like, oh man, that's just exactly what I'm working on for the whole time. There's nothing called rational. It's just intuition. But you follow your heart. You follow your gut. You follow what you feel is right, even though it doesn't take place yet. So that's how I met her. That's how I come up with her. That's how I work with AEA. That's how I start everything. And that's how I wake up every morning and I feel the life is full of happiness and everything. I look down to the road in the end, in the future, like 5-10 years from now, in the current career that I worked on, I see the very bright future. Maybe my parents keep telling me, why don't you just start a job or something like that? Why don't you just do something else? And I said, like, this is my calling. What else can I do? And that's the music from them, from P.T. Barney, that keeps singing. It's a million dreams. They keep singing it mentally, physically, every day. Thank you.
Okay, so enough fictitious characters. Let's talk about some real stuff now. So my next question is, okay, we've only got 2 more questions. can you give an example of flawed arguments, and how would you identify them? Raj?
I was afraid that he's going to ask me a truth or dare kind of question. Yeah. So identifying flawed arguments. To start with, my strategy would be to find out what is the honesty they're coming up with in the argument, right? What are they trying to come up in the deep of their minds? What is that one point they're trying to make, right? If they themselves are not very clear about it, then that is definitely a false argument. It could be anything. They could be talking about very simple thing or even a very politically controversial kind of a thing. Any statement that you make, with what kind of a belief system in you are those words coming out, that makes it like whether it is a real argument or a false argument, right? So that is the way I would measure anything that is coming from anybody. Like, what is the belief system in you, or what is the degree of belief in you that says that this statement is true? If you can figure out that part, then it is easy to figure out the flawed argument or a right argument for that.
Thank you, Raj. Okay. So let's see if there's anybody else. Like Jennifer?
What's the question?
So the question is, it's the same question. Can you give an example of flawed arguments, and how would you identify them?
I don't know the word flawed.
Flawed
Exactly.
means that the argument, the logic behind an argument is flawed. Sorry, circular logic there. It's incorrect. The premise is the underlying logic doesn't make any sense. Like, if I'm arguing with you, I say that a giraffe has stripes, and because at a distance it looks like a line, that's a flawed argument. That doesn't make any sense, right? So that and you say that no, that's because you're too far. You're not seeing the whole picture, something like that. Right? So that's it.
Okay. I'll take it. Thank you, Harun. As a business dealing with a lot of people, I agree with my dad share with me. Human being is somewhat the hardest manageable thing on earth that you can do. And human beings have own the rational, emotional, own things behind it. The personality, how they upbringing, what is their belief in, what the scars in their life that lead them to how they behave or what they think right now. So last night we have a long discussion with our board of management, and it was because 2 hours before that I talked with my CFO and CTO about the money releasing out when we have cash in the company. And after the chief academic officer posts the money that we're sending out to the team members, right away the CTO raised up the meeting because he felt unfair. So we discussed back and forth. Within the meetings, it was very stressful and intense at first. But at the end, I realized that the reason why they bring up with the money matters, not only because they care too much about money, but because the big vision of the company was lacking up in communication between the CFO and the CTO. So again, an argument is not only about a argument that you disagree with each other, but the underlying, what they really think, or like Ra said, what is deep inside of their mind is so important, and you have to dig down so deep, you understand it and you solve it from the root, not from the upside of it. Thank you.
I looked at the mirror and looked like you.
all the questions I had. Since all of us have spoken, Mr. Table Topics. Oh, sorry.
John Bell. Yeah, thank you, Arun.
Okay.
Do we have any
Yeah.
married?
She has.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she
that's
already-
good.
Okay, so basically, my role right now is to introduce the duty master to report how our speaker today performed. So at first, I would like to introduce the timer to see how we control our time.
Okay, for timer, let's see, table topics was 1 minute 40, 1 minute for me. Wyming is 1 minute 40. Tony, you had on your speech 2 minutes 30, and then 1 minute 40 on the table topic. Hannah had 8 minutes and 40 on her speech, and 1 minute 32 seconds on the table topics. Raj had 2 minutes 33. Oh shit. Raj had 2 minutes 33 seconds on the evaluation, 54 seconds on the table topics. Jennifer had 6 minutes 4 seconds on her speech and 1 minute 55 seconds on the table topics. And that's it. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Jose. And about grammarian, what can I help?
Yeah, well, I have, I
Yeah.
can read it off. So there's some comment about Jennifer talking about teenager years, and it's supposed to be teenage years. And then there's something about milestone of life. But I don't understand what that means.
Maybe life milestone.
Yeah, somehow the usage in the sentence might be interesting. And then there's this idea of our pocket money. So that might not make sense. Our pocket is you're using our pocket as an adjective and then try to describe money. So maybe you want to reverse it and say money out pocket rather than our pocket money. Raj, there's some comment about how you do as part of your day job, and I guess that's dangling how you do thing. I think that's all I got. The other ones I don't understand. So
Thank you,
just
sir.
to-
Thank you.
all I got.
Next, I would like to invite the word master, Brash.
Yeah, I think I chose a very popular word. Everybody used the word. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's a good word. Yeah, thank you. Joke master. Would you like to tell any joke, woman?
Joke master.
Yeah.
So read that joke. So John lives his life by statistics, but he's afraid to fly. One day his friend Bill asked him, "Why do you have this irrational fear of flying?" John said, "Irrational? Not at all. I'm merely calculating the odds of a bomb being placed on a plane, and it's too high for my comfort." A few days later, Bill boarded a flight to New York, and he found John next to him. He was surprised. "What happened? Have the odds changed that you're flying?" John said, "No, the odds of a bomb being on a plane haven't changed, but I calculated the odds of two bombs being on a plane. I found that odds to be a lot more comfortable. So I brought a bomb."
Well, that is a very intellectual joke. Okay. I invite Jose for our counter.
I'll counter report. I may have missed a few because I was doing the timing, but let's see now. I believe okay, Tony, you had 3. Hannah, about 4. She's not here. Raj, I didn't see anything. I have several. I believe I have 4. Jennifer, I didn't have any. And that's it. Nobody else had it. Yeah.
And also for our Toastmaster today, you did a very great job in controlling the flow, and also like a slight reminder for everyone when they come to turn. I didn't realize that they come to the turn. Also, on the duty master, you keep track very well, even though you have multiple roles, but still fulfill its function. And I would like to return the control back to the president. Is that too early?
Yeah.
Yeah, the president.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, let me give it to me.
You got yours too.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. President, what a special meeting today. I feel somehow very comfortable, very cozy, and thank you for choosing the theme, how to speak honestly. So because we do have some time left, so I would like to call it like impromptu 3-minute section of let's share honestly how we can help our club to grow better.
I have one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can start first, right?
Yeah. I have one suggestion. So when I took up the timer role, and whoever is doing the timer role, they are getting very distracted because even the joke thing that I was the rhyming was telling, I couldn't concentrate because I was doing something else on my paperwork, right?
Right.
So timer is like constantly distracted. He is not able to follow the speech very well because he or she has to keep a tab on the time.
Yeah.
Can we introduce something like a self-timing thing, like you put an app, put a mobile in front of you. You are interested in timing your speech more than anybody. Would that be a good suggestion?
Well, there are a lot of apps. In fact, when I do
Yeah.
timer, I just use
In fact,
the
when
app.
I talk, I time it myself because I want to know how much time am I taking.
Okay.
So I time it on my mobile, right? So I'm just saying that.
These apps are free.
Yeah.
So I have.
What is the name of that?
So that means we open up a iPad here and that the timer's the tick tick
Yeah.
tick like that,
No,
right?
no,
You just
so
open
you can
iPad.
use it on your mobile. You can put it on the table.
Oh,
so that you get
so
to
a
see
mobile
the
like
screen.
this, a big display like this.
Yeah.
So it goes like there are many of them. You can just find the one that you want, and you just start it. And you don't have to do anything. You just change column.
Okay.
So we still do need the timer, right? But those people would give report back to the
I'm sure some app would do that for us.
Yeah.
Or if they are timing it for themselves, then they will know it, right? So they are interested in knowing how much time they took in their speech.
Well,
Because the timer role, according to me, is a very distractive role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the timer still needs to run the timer, but he can start it, and then he doesn't have
No,
to.
I'm
do it.
saying we can automate it. Basically, my point is you don't need a human to do that. There are apps and
Now let's embrace AI. We will invent a machine and then put right there, have a remote.
I think
Click.
the role of the timer is really about letting the rest of the audience know when they're supposed to sort of start clapping the person off the stage. So that's the real goal there for the role of the timer. Obviously, if you want to be really accurate and time yourself and pace yourself, that's something that you can always
Do
you're
it, yeah.
encouraged to do so. But the timer's role is really about for the audience and how they are evaluating it. Because obviously, if you're getting